Asteroids, originally an arcade hit by Atari, made its way to the Atari 2600 in 1981, and it quickly became one of the system's most iconic titles. While it may not have the crisp vector graphics of its arcade counterpart, the 2600 versions still manages to capture the addictive gameplay that made the original so popular. The core mechanics of Asteroids are simple yet thrilling. You control a spaceship in the middle of an asteroid field, shooting rocks and avoiding collisions. You can rotate, thrust, and fire your ship in any direction, adding a layer of control that is easy to grasp but challenging to master. The game's increasing difficulty, with faster moving asteroids and more enemies, keeps the player on their toes. The 2600 controller is well suited for the game, providing precise control over movement and shooting. The addition of hyperspace, a mechanic that allows the ship to teleport randomly, adds a level of tension as you never know where you'll end up, which can be both a lifesaver and a death sentence. Considering the limitations of the Atari 2600, the graphics in Asteroids are quite impressive. The asteroids themselves are simple, blocky representations, but the game's minimalist style works well. The ship is represented by a simple triangle, and the enemy sources are small circles, but they still convey the essence of the game well enough. The sound effects are basic, as you'd expect from the 2600, with simple pew-pew sounds when shooting and a satisfying explosion noise when an asteroid is destroyed. While not as immersive as the arcade version's vector-based sound, the audio fits the retro aesthetic and doesn't detract from the experience. One of the strengths of Asteroids on the Atari 2600 is its high replay value. The game is simple to pick up, but difficult to master. Each game is different, with the asteroid field constantly shifting, making every session feel fresh. The increasing difficulty ensures that the game never gets too easy, challenging players to improve their skills over time. At its core, Asteroids was revolutionary for its time. It was a space-themed, multi-directional shooter that combined fast-paced action, simple mechanics, and intuitive controls, yet it was also incredibly challenging. The game's combination of rotating and thrusting mechanics, along with the random nature of asteroid movement, kept players on edge and made each session unique. This unpredictability became one of the defining characteristics of the game, influencing future titles in the shooter genre. Asteroids also introduced a feature that was relatively uncommon in games at the time: continuous, dynamic play. Rather than offering finite levels with clear endings, the game looped infinitely, offering an ever-increasing challenge that kept players hooked. This approach to difficulty scaling and gameplay design influenced countless games to come, showing developers the value of endless gameplay loops and high score chasing as core elements of a game's appeal. The game's popularity also had a significant impact on the arcade industry, marking the beginning of the golden age of arcade gaming. It set a high standard for how games could attract players, not just with high-tech visuals, but with engaging gameplay that kept them coming back for more. It's no surprise that Asteroids became one of Atari's highest-grossing games, earning millions of dollars in its heyday. The legacy of Asteroids stretches far beyond its arcade origins. Its influence on game design, its role in the development of the home console market, and its status as a cultural touchstone have ensured that Asteroids remains one of the most significant games in history. It was a harbinger of the fast-paced, high-score chasing experiences that would come to dominate the gaming world, and it continues to be a beloved classic, reminding us of the timeless power of simple, yet compelling, gameplay.